Welcome to the Bridgewater Township Council meeting on Tuesday, June 12th at 7:30. This, by the way, is billed as a special session because it was originally scheduled to be last week, but the Board of Election needed the room, so it got moved to this week. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, the adequate notice of this meeting was provided on May 22nd, 2025, by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. May I have the roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Codilla?
Here.
Councilman Pedroso? Councilman Ring?
Good evening. Here.
President Nogales?
Here. Would you please stand, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance to be handled by Tim Ring? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have item number 4, which is the minutes for the regular session of May 22nd, 2025. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at those minutes? And if so, may I have a motion on them, please?
I'll make that motion to approve.
We have a motion, a second? I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion. The minutes are approved. The special session minutes will be moved separately. Under Township Council reports, will we start with Alan Crodilla, please?
This evening, I do not have a report.
That's a nice report. Thank you. Michael Kirsch.
I'll be brief, but not that brief. I had the privilege of attending the Memorial Day parade and ceremony hosted by the American Legion Post 327 over in Bradley Gardens. I've done that pretty much every year. It's meaningful for me personally, and I'm happy to be representing the community at that event. The night of our special meeting, the zoning board met right after us, and during that meeting continued to hear the case for senior townhouses along 202, 206, adjacent to the property owned by the JCC. Also heard a residential case, a side yard setback on 202, 206 in the northern part of town. And just wanted to also acknowledge that we did have an election a couple days ago. Elections don't run smoothly by accident. In our case in Bridgewater, we have, I think, the best team around, led by our clerk Grace to my right, her immediate team, Juliana, Allie, and Natalie. We also had participation from several departments, administration, public works, engineering, HR, and health and human services. Also bears noting that we did have early voting here in this very room. That was a decision that we made several years ago to pursue that and encourage that. We think that's, even though it is a bit of a disturbance to our meeting schedule, it certainly is a very good public service that we provide. But on primary election day, we still have 36 voting districts across 12 different locations, and the operation ran very smoothly, so thank you very much. And that's my report.
Thank you. Councilman Pedrosa has joined us. Councilman, do you have a report for us, please?
You know, all I want to really say, first of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. It's nice to see so many people in this room. We don't often have so much company, so thanks for spending a night with us. But all I really want to say is congrats to the Bridgewater Panthers rugby team. Nicely done. Proud of you boys. I'm glad you're here to receive a proclamation today, right? A proclamation on the agenda, so that's wonderful. I guess it's the second championship in 8 years, so I guess congrats to the coaching. What, third? Wow, third. I need to catch up. That's phenomenal. Wow. Congrats to the coaching staff for doing that. That's amazing. So anyway, well done. Good job. Thanks for being here. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Ring, please.
Thank you, sir. I echo Councilman Kirsch's comments to the clerk's office on the elections and their efforts. It's a long day, and they do an excellent job with it. Continue to work through some questions around the budget with the administration. Just a reminder, if any of council members have any questions or suggestions around the budget, would appreciate getting them to Councilman Kirsch or I. And then lastly, I know we do have some folks here tonight who have come to speak about the Cafe Emilia expansion application. I know I spoke to a couple of people before, and I just confirmed a little bit further information. So the Cafe Emilia application is being heard by the Zoning Board of Adjustment. That hearing will start on July 22nd at 7 p.m. in this room. This is a public meeting. You're welcome to be here. Just understand that this governing body up here does not have any vote or say over the application that Cafe Emilia has put forth. That will be heard by the zoning board of the Township of Bridgewater on July 22nd. And during that process, I'm not sure if it'll be done in one night, if it will go multiple nights. They will have experts testify as to why they feel they have a hardship that should give them a variance. There's an opportunity for the public to cross-examine, provide your own expert witnesses, and ask questions. So July 22nd, 7 p.m. in this room. And that's my report.
Thank you. Mr. Cordella. Sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. My report. I was going to report in more detail about the PSE&G thing, but we will receive a complete report. So I will simply say that the streets that will be touched are Van Holten, Meadow, Cold Spring Lane, Turnbull, Tenite, Church, Stella, Glenwood Drive, and Grimm Road. The Bridgewater Raritan Municipal Committee held its last spring meeting in June and will reconvene in September. Topics covered in the June meeting included Empower Somerset and Grief, Hope, and Recovery, which involve practical paths for hope and healing. Attended the 125th anniversary celebrating the founding of the Somerset Hospital in Somerville. The event was sponsored by R.W.J. Barnabas Health Foundation. Featured speakers include the Honorable William Keller, Jr., our very own retired presiding municipal judge, as well as Deidre Blouse, Chief Administrative Officer at Robert Wood. They journeyed through the years from 1899, founding as a result of a 12-year-old accident victim who died because of inadequate medical attention at the time the nearest hospital was in Plainfield. I participated in the administrators' redevelopment meetings where various projects were discussed, and lastly, attended along with Councilman Ring the quarterly meeting of the Middlebrook Health Commission. There were several topics discussed, including COVID, measles, and the need for water testing. That is my report. Mayor's report, please, sir.
Mr. President, in light of the crowd that is here, I'm wondering if I could defer my report until after the presentation by PSE&G.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, we're up to the thing that most of you are here for, and thank you for making this massive outpouring of people. We're going to have to do something every a couple of weeks to try to get people to come out. Sometimes it's very lonely, trust me. We have a proclamation for the Boys Recreation High School rugby team, and I've asked Alan Credilla to read the proclamation. There is probably no greater sports family than Alan's for his kids involved, and I wanted him to participate in this. That's the one sport his family doesn't participate in, but you may get him in the future.
You never know. Howard, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, congratulations. Reading the proclamation is truly a pleasure, an honor, and let's get it going because you deserve it. Whereas Bridgewater Recreation's high school boys rugby team has completed an extraordinary season by going undefeated and capturing the 2025 Rugby New Jersey Blue League State Championship. And whereas this outstanding achievement is a testament to the team's unwavering commitment to excellence, tireless dedication to training, and exceptional performance on the field. And whereas the players of the Bridgewater Recreation's high school boys rugby team have exemplified not only athletic prowess, but also the highest standards of character, sportsmanship, and camaraderie throughout the season. And whereas the strong leadership shown by team captains, coaches, and supporting staff has played an essential role in fostering a culture of unity, resilience, and respect that has propelled the team to the pinnacle of success. And whereas the unwavering support, encouragement, and involvement of the players' parents and families have been a vital part of the team's success, providing the foundation for both the athletes' personal growth and the spirit of the entire program. And whereas the team's historic, undefeated season and championship victory have brought great pride and distinction to our entire community. Now, therefore, be it resolved. The Township of Bridgewater acknowledges the outstanding achievements of the Bridgewater Recreation High School boys rugby team, and all residents are urged to join in recognition and celebration of the remarkable accomplishments of these outstanding student athletes and the positive example that they set forth for our youth and our community. Signed by Matthew C. Mensch, Mayor. Gentlemen, congratulations.
Come on up, boys.
Gotta have a good-looking guy go first.
Your am I freaking way, bro?
Oops, sorry. Testing, 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 testing.
Okay.
Sure, thank you. Thank you very much. Nice job, guys.
I did not.
They'll give you one.
Thank you.
I think we're all right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I got one, thank you. A little extra large.
It's nice of them.
I think so.
And if it's worth more than $25, we have to report
All right,
it.
I'll make this short and sweet, okay? My name's Chris. I'm one of the few coaches that are coach this high school's rugby team. A little bit. I played from 2014 when the team started all the way to 2017 and was on that 2017 championship team. And after high school, I came back to help coach and continue this legacy that is the Bridgewater rugby team. First things first, I want to thank the mayor, I want to thank the township administration and the council for allowing us to have this program and allowing these boys to play this great sport of rugby. Rugby is truly a brotherhood like no other. You know, I've played for 10 years probably now and whatnot, and everybody I've played with all the way up to men's league, I'm proud to say is my brother, all right? And I'm proud to say that these boys are going to continue playing rugby, and hopefully I'll be honored enough to play with them one day on a men's field, okay? Anybody, I encourage them to come out and play rugby. It's a wonderful sport, okay? I know you look at it on TV and it looks very rough and whatnot, but really it is a wonderful sport, and it really breeds good discipline and whatnot. And that's all I have to say. So thank you to the town. All right, I know you all got your shirts and whatnot, and we are very proud. Okay? Take a picture.
I want us to hold up our shirts. Howard, hold up your shirt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
all right. Love it.
Thank you.
Are you wearing your shirt?
I'm going to put it on. And it fits, it's just the right size. Thank you again to the rugby team and for the, all of the organizations, especially the parents. Sometimes the unsung heroes. Often meals are missed because of practices and things like that, or transporting around. So thank you one and all for being here. Now feel free to remain for the meeting. You're not obligated to stay here. We have to stay here, but you don't. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Boy, Howard, you sure know how to empty a room.
I know that. We'll just give them a second to continue the festivity out in the hall.
A little ways to go, but, you know, how long did Terry?
What? Oh, no. She was wired shut for 6 weeks.
All right, we're up to item number 8, which is the presentation of public service gas and electric gas main replacement. I'm going to ask Bill Burr, where are you, Bill?
Right there.
He's
Okay,
making his way up.
come on up. Don't be bashful. He's going to introduce our guests for tonight. I must say that there's hardly a week goes by that I don't call Bill and say, where are we on the PSE&G gas thing? And he always has an answer, and And I think we're close to the end, right, Bill?
I think we're close to the end, and I think we're going to hear a little more detail. We're going to try to keep it brief, but we're going to hear a little bit more detail in a few minutes. But thank you, everybody, for having us tonight. Before me, and in a second, we're going to have PSE&G folks come up. I asked the PSE&G team to attend tonight. We thought it was a good opportunity to provide the governing body and the public with an update on this project. It's a project that you all know has been going on for a number of years now. One that has touched a lot of roads, probably approximately 18 miles worth of roadways have had new gas mains installed. So frankly, it's a testament to PSE&G and their investment in improving the infrastructure in town to provide safe gas service for our residents. One thing I want to talk about, as important it is to maintain the infrastructure and provide that safe gas service, it's important to me to ensure that our roadways are properly restored, frankly, to a better condition than they were before the project started. So I just want to talk a little bit about, and Council President, you mentioned the roadways that are going to be improved, but one of the things that we've spent a lot of time on, a lot of brain power on, a lot of communication and coordination with the gas company reps, is to come up with a plan for how the roadways that have been disturbed for the gas main install, how they're going to get restored. What we don't want to have is a bunch of half-road mill and overlays like we see in some towns and in some parts of this town. We really made a focus to try to ensure that all the roads were going to get a full-width mill and overlay at the end of the gas main install. So with that, you've already seen some of that plan in action. I think in last August, if I'm not mistaken, we saw the first wave of roads get improved under that concept, and that included all of, or most of Foothill Road, as well as some of the neighborhoods around Foothill. That plan was then furthered, I think, into November, where we completed the roadways off of the southern portion of Vossler Ave on either side of Vossler Ave, which was the Shady Lane and the Deerhead neighborhood, as well as the Crest Road neighborhood. So quite a number of roads have already been completed. Now that the gas main work on the latest phase of the project is complete or just about complete, we're going to move in, hopefully in the next few weeks, into the final phase of milling and paving. And that is the list of roadways that were just read off, and I'll just real quickly reread them. What I would say is once the schedule is set, all residents are going to receive notices through probably a number of different ways. There's going to be email and phone calls made. There's going to be door hangers. There's going to be posts on social media. So all of the impacted folks are going to be aware. That will hopefully be the last of the pain with this project. I know it's been a long one. I know there's been a lot of detours, necessary detours to keep for safe working conditions, but the detours are an inconvenience, and we know that. And we've done our best to work with the gas company, and frankly, they've been very responsive to us as issues come up, working together to try to get this project done as quickly as possible. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we're going to see about 10 more roads get paved. That work is probably going to take about 2 weeks of milling and overlaying. And then the project, this phase of the project, we may hear from the gas company if any future work is planned. But for now, that's the end of the gas company work that I'm aware of. So with that, the roads that we're going to be milling and paving are a section of Country Club. So Country Club Road from Van Holten up to Roosevelt East. You're going to have the entirety of Van Holten Road repaved. You're going to have a section of Meadow Road from Easton Turnpike up to about Deer Run resurfaced. You're going to have all of Cold Spring, Turnbull, and Tenike, which are off of Meadow Road. You're going to have all of Church Road repaved. And then you're going to have portions of Stella Drive, Glenwood Terrace done, as well as Grimm Drive, which is, it's actually, you have to go through Somerville. It's off of North Gaston. You have to go through Somerville to get there. But Grimm Drive will be repaved. With that, I think that's all I wanted to report on. I would ask the folks from PSE&G to come up. I'm here to answer any questions that anyone may have of me. Otherwise, I'll take a seat and let them jump into. I just want them to give kind of a little bit more detail on the project, what's been completed, what may lie ahead, and frankly, if there's any questions of them, make them available for questions.
Come on up, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And please introduce yourself and the position you hold in PSE&G, please.
I'll start and My name is Matthew Rose. I'm the Regional Public Affairs Manager for Somerset County at PSE&G, and wanted to thank you all for having us here tonight for the opportunity to do the presentation. We understand the impact that this project's had on the township, and we really appreciate the cooperation that we've had with the engineering department and the public works department in doing these necessary upgrades.
And my name is Tyler Keefe. I am the project manager for PSE&G's Mid-Central Gas Construction Group. Am I on the screen there? Yep. Okay. With Matt and I tonight are Kate Almeida, Senior Project Manager, PSE&G, Mike Gallagher, Construction Manager, and Kasim Gomez, our Outreach Specialist. To just give an overview of the recent projects we've had in Bridgewater. Since March of 2023, we've completed 4 total projects for a total of 20.2 miles of gas main replacement and about 1,010 service replacements. The first project, which started March 2023, we call it PL 401. That was in the Vossler Avenue area. That one was 4.8 miles of gas main replacement and 263 services. Our next one, PL 403, that was 6.7 miles of gas main replacement and 315 services. That one was your Foothill North Bridge Street area. And PL 404 was 3.4 miles of main replacement and 167 services. And that's your Stella Drive, Copper Hill Way. The benefits of all this work include the immediate reduction of leaks, because our program targets the aging, leaking gas infrastructure and replaces with new plastic. Reduced methane emissions, which goes hand in hand with gas leaks. Enhanced safety and reliability, preventing future gas leaks. And part of our work is when we move our gas meters from inside the home to outside the home. It reduces the risk, improves safety, and it improves the emergency access that may be needed for first responders. Our most recent project, PL 406, we just wrapped up construction in April. This started in March 2024 to April 2025. This was 5.4 total miles of gas main replacement. With that, 265 services were replaced. And your major streets here were Country Club Road between Van Holten and Ardsley, Van Holten Road between Meadow and Country Club, Meadow Road from Church Road to Deer Run Road, and then some side streets, Deer Run Road, Riverview Road, Cold Spring Lane, Turnbull Place, Ten Eyck Road, Church Road, Juniper Lane, Spring Valley Drive, and Foxcroft Road. Like Bill mentioned, we plan to begin final mill and pave restoration on those streets beginning Monday, June 23rd. Thank you.
Question.
Okay, now,
Do you do the paving in-house or do you sub it out?
So it is subbed out. Rockbourne Paving is our contractor.
Okay.
and they're the same company you use continuously, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming you have some kind of, I'll say, performance requirements with them. And I guess where I'm going with this is I know it was not PSE&G, but from some township work last year, we had some challenges in 2 different parts of the town where the quality of the blacktop that was coming from a local vendor resulted in the paving contractor have to go back in this spring and actually replace portions of the road. I'm assuming you have similar requirements with your contractors as far as quality?
Yes.
Okay.
Philippe, do you have a question?
Yeah, quickly. A couple of years ago, there were certainly a lot of issues when PSE&G was redoing our roads. The roads were closed. A lot of our residents were complaining about the lack of proper notice or being aware of what was happening in real time. A lot of, especially if kids were getting late to school buses didn't even know where to go. So it's really important, so I'm imploring you again, that it's really important that PSE&G have really good communication with our township and that this information gets out in real time so people can adjust. I mean, that's really the number one issue. I mean, we understand and we appreciate the fact that roads are going to get repaired, but when people are surprised and then they're trying to get their kids to school and they can't, it just becomes very frustrating to all the residents. So just to make sure that, I just want to share that with you and make sure that you make that a high priority, that you provide real-time communication to the township and it's shared with our residents.
Absolutely. And our notification process has started. I know that the on or about signs have been posted on the roads we will be paving. And we have worked with the township to, we are starting after school is out, so hopefully we won't run into any bus traffic.
Would you take us through the process? You said you're moving the meter from inside the house to outside with the shutoff. Take us through the process of that. And are you affecting the gas main from the street to the house to wherever you cut?
So our process, so well, first we install the new gas main down the street. We tie it in so there's gas on that new main. And then each service gets transferred from the old main to the new main. And in that process, we'll replace your service as well, which most times is an insertion through the existing service. And then that's when your meter will get brought from inside to outside the house for safety reasons.
And that's done by who? The employees, is that done by PSE&G people? For the folks who have somebody coming into their house,
That is
is it
done
going to
by-
be a PSE&G certified person?
That is a
Okay.
PSE&G employee.
Okay, and the place where I was asked whether there was any flexibility for where the meter will actually be located outside the house, because in most cases, these mains come right up through the center of the house, and people are concerned that there's going to be a meter sticking up in there, right in front of their window or something like that.
Well, we do have guidelines as far as how close we can put it to windows and things like that. So we have to stay within our, the BPU regulations of where the meter goes.
Okay, could you share those guidelines could you provide a copy of those guidelines to Mr. Pappas so that we can have it on record as to what it's supposed to look like? I also understand that it will no longer have a shut-off inside the house. The shut-off will be outside. Is that factual?
Correct.
It is.
But at this point, you have all of the conversions from old mains to the new mains for the residential is done.
Yes, we're
I mean,
complete.
at this point, there's nobody else being converted.
Correct.
Yeah, but, okay. Is that a fact that, I know you had your mains completed, so you've done every house that you're going to do?
Yes, we have.
Okay. All right. I guess that's an issue then. Okay.
All construction work is complete. The only phase remaining on this project is the final paving.
What level of restoration do you do to this disturbed surface? In other words, if you're going to dig up a piece to get to the main right outside the house, right?
Yes.
And then so you're disturbing something. Is that restored to whatever status it was before you started?
Yes.
Okay, and it's probably a poor question to ask, but if you had to remove vegetation, is any of that restored, or do you simply?
Yeah, so it is restored. We leave properties, public and private, as we found them. So if anything was removed, it is put back.
Okay. Any other questions for the council?
My experience, because I was one of however many homes they've done, when they were all done, they threw dirt down, grass seed, restored flower beds. I won't say exactly the same, but as close to the same as it was, so.
Sounds like a good outcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
The contractor brings the line up to the outside of the house. PSC&G employees are the ones that go in the house, move the meter outside, and connect.
Alan, did you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions, just a comment based on the presentation and some of the questions. I agree what's being said. You know, the PSC&G people were very professional. The crews that you had working addressed any questions that came up on the street. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad to see it's coming to an end because the road cuts and all that, I'm glad to see that's going to be over very soon.
Anything else? Michael, anything from you?
No questions, no.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your participation and for the work. We look forward to the road curb to curb paving. Okay. Thank you again. All right, we're up to item number 9, meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. I'm sorry.
May I?
Mayor's report. Oh, that's right. You asked to defer it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Mensch has a PowerPoint presentation that he has prepared and is actually will be made available to the public in the next 24 hours. And he asked that I present this, and I'll try to be brief with regard to the budget. Over the last few meetings, there have been comments and questions that have been posed about the 2025 budget, and this PowerPoint is an attempt to address some of the issues that have been raised. There's a series of questions that are being posed in this PowerPoint and responses, and I'll try to review that. First is, what is the Bridgewater budget for 2025? The amount is $51,401,645.82, and it simply covers everything that is required to operate the municipal government. Public safety, parks, other community programs such as our senior center, and an effort to serve the residents each day of the year. Next question, does inflation affect Bridgewater's municipal budget? Well, yes, of course it does. Inflation affects all of us, and year after year, as inflation increases, the purchasing power for all of us, including municipal government, is impacted. Next question, how does the inflation rate compare to the proposed budget increase? 2024 inflation rate was 2.9%, and the source of that data was the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The proposed increase to this year's budget is 0.82%, less than 1/3 of the rate of inflation. Next question, are there costs in the budget we cannot legally reduce or cut? Yes. Mandated costs, pension, healthcare, contractual salary agreements, debt service payments, liability insurance. And that makes about 25% of the budget. Next question, why doesn't Bridgewater just freeze the budget and keep it flat every year? Again, as I mentioned earlier, inflation has an impact on that. If a budget is kept flat, that actually leads to a reduction in services because of the increased costs of everything. The next slide depicts graphically what that would mean with the increased inflationary costs, increases to mandated requirements that we have, and what would suffer would be the services. And on the bottom right-hand corner of that slide, we list some of those services: police, public safety, roads, parks, senior activities, recreational programs, and code enforcement. Next question, does Bridgewater control the assessed value of your home? No, we do not. Bridgewater, like every other municipality in New Jersey, has a municipal tax assessor that is a township employee, but his or her requirements of carrying out their responsibility is regulated by the State of New Jersey Division of Taxation. Next question, why was the budget introduced and adopted later this year? Due diligence. There are a number of people who have said that have been critical of the township for the date that the budget was introduced, but it was the administration's desire, in collaboration with the governing body, once it was presented, to have a budget that is carefully thought out and planned. Next question, has the township been relying too heavily on the budget surplus? Is it now exhausted? The answers are no and no. We have consistently had a healthy surplus that is replenished significantly each year, and the graph shows that. Next question, how much did Bridgewater Township raise property taxes this year? The effective proposed budget would raise the property taxes for the municipal portion for the average home in Bridgewater Township by $6. The actual amount is $34, but $28 of the $34 is because the property values have increased by 2%. 2% increase of the property value of an average home is $28. And adding another $6 to that brings us to what we expect to be the actual increase for the average home in Bridgewater Township. Next question, by what amount did the Bridgewater tax rate increase this year? 0.001. Tax rate last year was 0.243. Proposed tax rate this year is 0.244. Again, an increase of 0.001. The average home in Bridgewater is assessed at $576,495. Simple math, multiplying the value of the home times the new proposed tax rate, 0.00244, and that amount is $1,406.56. 34 more dollars than last year. Next question, how does Bridgewater's tax rate increase compared to others in the area? In a word, small. Not minimizing it, but it is small. Turn to the next slide. You'll see a bar graph that will show several municipalities in the area. Bridgewater's is shown at the extreme left. You can barely see it. 0.001 is the increase. And if you move to the right, you will see, again, we are significantly less than most municipalities. Next question, what percentage of your property tax bill goes to Bridgewater Township? 11% is the answer. The pie chart shows that approximately 67% goes to the Bridgewater-Raritan School District, 20% to the County of Somerset, 2% to the fire districts, and 11% to Bridgewater Township. That is the amount that this municipal government has jurisdiction over. Next question. Have we really had 5%, 6%, 13%, and 8% tax increases in 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, respectively? I have and staff have looked at every set of figures, and we have not been able to determine what the source of that perspective is. Next slide. Has the Camp Cromwell federal grant been held up for budgetary reasons? The answer to that is simply no. There is a requirement from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is the agency that is managing the funds that Congressman Kane was fortunate enough to advocate for, and we have approved. It is a simple waiting on the grant agreement that has to be executed prior to the funds becoming available. And the last slide is just some commentary that he conveyed. Again, we are wanting to provide information, we are wanting to provide facts, and that's what we have tried to do in this presentation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Excellent, thank you. Were any comments or questions? Okay. I believe we are now moving to the meeting open to the public. I will recite it again. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 3 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. May I have a motion to open to the public, please?
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All those in favor of opening, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We are open. Ladies and gentlemen, please come forward, sign your name and address, speak closely to the microphone, and tell us what you want to tell us.
Hi, I'm Mitch Katchen. I live at 1462 Long Road in Martinsville. I'm here with a bunch of neighbors. We have some concerns with our neighbors, specifically with Adam Alb, who's been in front of this council before. There's been some illegal dumping going on up in our neighborhood, and we're under the impression now that Adams Farm is going to start up the same antics that we've been dealing with, for the past half a dozen, 8 years. So we're bringing it to the council's attention because we're very concerned about property damage, possible loss of life. There's been a lot of dumping of wood chips up on the Long Road Hills. We had a major fire, as you all know, about 1.5 years ago. Somebody came, one of the police officers came to my house, knocked on the door, be prepared to evacuate, and we're concerned that the farm use of Adams land is going to become another source for the neighbors to go and do this illegal dumping of wood chips, which will exasperate any kind of fire. So I'm also here with my neighbor, Romeo Russo. He's got more to add to that, as well as other neighbors in the back. And it's important we bring it to your attention because we'd really like to stop this from happening before it creates a major problem up there to loss of life, loss of property, waste of taxpayers' money to put out another significant fire, which occurred on the land a short while ago. So, Romeo?
Has this concern been raised to the township before?
I've not heard from this gentleman directly, but certainly we're aware of the general issues.
Hello, my name is Romeo Russo from 1480 Long Road. And first, I'd like to say thank you to Bridgewater Mayor and the council members for listening to our concerns and in their efforts to try to mitigate a larger scale disaster. I'd like to also say thanks to the Bridgewater Police and Fire Departments and their support in dealing with the hazardous situation that is not only an environmental concern, but has also caused several fires, including one very large one. As you know, behind our property, tons upon tons of wood chips and leaves from previous fall cleanup operations, which also contained litter, was brought in by the truckloads day in and day out. This happened for several years. Fires have also been set in the wooded area, one of which required the dispatch of a firefighting aircraft to help extinguish a large-scale fire that also injured some firemen. The dumping has killed several trees that subsequently fell due to the suffocation of their roots. In an effort to reduce the risk of a tree injuring or even killing someone, over the past several years, we paid thousands of dollars to have these dead trees either cut down or removed after they had fallen. Luckily, no one has been injured or killed yet. For our protection, before approaching and entering the common drive, we now look up to ensure that no tree is about to fall. This includes some dead trees that are along Long Road, posing a danger to the general public as well. The potholes left by the tractor that was used to spread and move the wood chips and leaves are not just a nuisance, but also made my son fall from his bike, hurting his wrist while going to get the mail. Much of this dumped material was pushed toward and onto my property, where in one section a landslide hazard still exists. After the owner of 1490 Long Road was ordered to no longer conduct open burns, he created a large mound comprised of wood trunks, wood parts, sticks, which he placed along the easement. He told me that this is so we have to look at it since we had a problem with him burning it. Recently, the owner of 1482, Mr. Alp, approached me to tell me that his farm is now woodland farm, is now a woodland farm, which the owner of 1490 Long Road will manage. He informed me that he is allowed to also burn and that the easement needs to be widened so that the dump trucks can have access to this farm. A few days later, the owner of 1490 Long Road started to blade and smooth a large section of the easement leading up to 1482. The owner of that parcel, who is here, she's right there, Ms. McGovern, called him to question him what he was doing. He informed her that this is so the trucks can drive on it, and hung up on her. This was without her permission and presumably without any permits, and this probably more than 5,000 square feet of disturbed soil. Although no trucks have yet appeared, we are certain that it is only a matter of time before the dumping restarts under the guise of farming. We ask that Bridgewater Township enforce all necessary codes to prevent any hazardous situations from recurring, especially ones that could create wildfires similar to what occurred in Palisades Park, California, and Los Angeles, and even Ocean County here in New Jersey. We also ask that the owner of 1490 Long Road be required to clean up the created mounds and be held responsible for the cost to cut down any trees that are now posing a fall hazard, not only to the common drive, but also along Long Road due to their compromised root structure that is a result of the dumping. Thank you for your time.
For those of you who are here on behalf of this, would you like to sign in so that we have a record of your participation with your name and address and any comments you'd like to offer other than support for the two gentlemen that have already spoken? Mr. Pappas, it sounds like we need to get an evaluation whether the right to farm at this particular is being
underway.
satisfied.
That is underway. This was the subject of discussion at a council meeting a month or two ago, and since then, I have had a number of meetings with various township officials and others, and this is all under review. It is a very complex situation.
Sure it is.
So we are trying to be exhaustive in our research, and having your information would be helpful. And I'm going to give you my cards, and if any of you, if I could ask Mr. Russo, you could distribute them to the folks that are here. And if anyone has anything they want to just send to me directly, you can send it to me via email. Okay? Thank you.
We're aware that the right to farm provides opportunities for people who are legitimately farming, but we're also aware that there are limitations to that right where it impacts neighbors. So it sounds like that's well underway. Is there a perceived horizon for this study, a month, or 2 months, or something? Okay.
I hope soon. I would not want to provide a date certain because, like I said, it's a complex matter. There's the right to farm provision. There is the categorization of the property in question here, not as woodland, but as a forestry management plan, and that is a totally different program than a traditional forest management plan. So Mr. Corsini and I have met on this, and he is assisting with the review to ensure that we really understand what everyone's rights are. And everyone has rights here, even Mr. Alb. And so we just want to make sure that we are clear on what those rights are. And as the council president said, that they can impact other people, and we are very sensitive to that.
So rest assured, the matter is not forgotten. Okay? Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council on any matter, please come forward.
Hi, my name is Julie J. This is my first time at one of these, so bear with me. But I live in the Glen Road neighborhood, and my family and I have lived there since 2019, and one of the main selling points for the house was the proximity to Glen Park. At the time, I had a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old, and now they are 6 years old and 10 tomorrow. So my older son actually asked for a tennis racket for his birthday. He, of all the sports, He's gotten to try soccer, basketball, swimming. Tennis is becoming his favorite sport, and we're very fortunate that Glen Park has a tennis court. And I'm here because I want to share with you, bring something to your attention of the condition of the tennis court at Glen Park. I took some pictures to share with you. I know that's the Parks Department's responsibility to maintain these parks, but I think that we could all agree that participating in sports, physical education is an important thing to do for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. We were so fortunate to have that nice group of young men here on the rugby team. And I also think we all agree that keeping our parks in good condition, a safe place to be, is important to all of us here. So there are a lot of our neighborhood residents who use the park often. There's a basketball court, there's a playground. It's a wonderful place, and it's just a shame to see it not getting the care that it needs. So I brought some pictures to share with you, and because the actual condition of the tennis court, there are big cracks going down through it with weeds growing through. About 50% of the time the ball hits the ground, it hits one of those cracks and bounces, it goes all askew. So yeah, I hope that this could be made a priority in the near future. So thank you. Can I share these with you?
Give the pictures to the clerk, please. Anyone else wishing to address the council on any matter, please come forward.
One of my neighbors brought up, if somebody's going to actually go up there and survey that property where Mr. Alb lives, you'll see that as nothing more than a big dump. There are used tractors, washing machines, roofing material, propane tanks that have...
will all be part of the analysis that will be done by the town.
Okay, I just wanted to bring it to the attention. So again, thank everybody for your time.
Thank you.
Evening. I appreciate the opportunity to address you tonight. My name is Roy Wheeler. I live on Charlotte Drive. I've been a resident of Bridgewater for over 36 years. I do understand from Tim telling me that this is actually probably not the right committee that will be addressing variances, so that's fine. I understand it, but if you want to be on record, address you. So that at least you have an understanding of the reason many of us are actually here tonight. So as I said...
Let me state right in the beginning, it's before a legitimate zoning board activity, which is a judicial body. This council does not influence the application or the outcome. So you're free to talk, but if you're expecting some sort of council response to it, there will be none.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And that is not my intent. My intent is just to be heard. I'm here tonight because I'm very concerned about the proposed variance application for Cafe Amelia restaurant located at the intersection of Charlotte Drive, a very quiet residential street and neighborhood, which they have applied for to create a very large expansion of the current footprint. I have many concerns at this proposal, and it's yet clear again a good example of overdevelopment in Bridgewater, which I'm sure many of you over the course of your careers have fought against. Overdevelopment in Bridgewater is a constant fight for the residents of our town and needs to continue. And we need to hold those who are elected to protect these rights of our town and our citizens accountable. I'm sure you're all familiar with Cafe Amelia and its location, and many of you have probably actually visited there and have dinner or maybe an event there. The proposal calls for an adjacent church, Branch Point Church, to be demolished so that Cafe Amelia can build an addition for 100-seat banquet hall and a 30-seat bar and courtyard, creating a 16,000-foot square building, two-story building. The proposal requires a variance from zoning board of adjustments because restaurants are not permitted to zone in this area. The proposal would expand the existing restaurant, which has already caused severe traffic on our block, onto Charlotte Drive off of 202. It also creates a public safety issue, as currently the traffic, and there was no greater example than driving up my block today, the traffic that pours out of Cafe Amelia pours right onto Charlotte Drive. In this case, what it does is it creates double parking and, in fact, a public safety hazard, as there is no way that an emergency vehicle would be able to get down Charlotte Drive with the traffic that the restaurant causes. Double parked, a resident can barely get down the street without some maneuvering. So as I said, it makes emergency vehicles, fire trucks, ambulances, any type of rescue vehicle almost impossible to pass down the street. Public health will be impacted by what we anticipate.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Do you have much more to say because,
Is my time 3 minutes?
I'm sorry?
I have 3 minutes?
You had your 3 minutes.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you should.
Well, yeah, I try to let people talk until they, finish, but at this point, it's obvious that the content is well beyond the purview of what the council can or should do in this case. You need to go to that body, you need to go to the zoning board and make that same presentation if you have not already.
Have not already, but do plan to, and I do plan to be back here in July, as Tim mentioned, for those hearings.
Okay.
I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry I went over my time.
That's okay. Is there anyone else who's interested in speaking on that specific issue? Because if you are, you can please go up, announce your name and address, and simply say that you support the issue. But I cannot permit a recitation of the same thing because, as I have stated, and as was stated by Councilor Ring, this is not the right body to hear that. The zoning board is a judicial body, and that's their job. It's not our job. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. My name is Atul Darji. I'm at 5 Charlotte Drive. I appreciate that. I do understand that the council represents us, though, the citizens, right? So I'm coming here to ask you to at least consider and hear us. My concern is mainly about the safety of our citizens, and I hope the council is concerned about the safety of our citizens.
Trust me, the council is always concerned about the safety of our residents. But we have procedures that need to be followed. And this council, although it is concerned about safety on behalf of everybody, will not attempt to influence the outcome of the zoning board. That is their job, and your job may be to go and talk to them and make your case. I can't be any more candid than that.
You are very clear.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that you know that we're here to make...
That's why I want to have your name and address, and you can simply say on the record that you support all the aforementioned concerns about the Charlotte Drive,
We do.
Okay.
I support it. And imagine if your mother lived down that street, she had a heart attack, and an ambulance needed to get there, and there was a banquet function happening with a wedding. 400 people showing up, cars double parked, 9 p.m., trying to get to there.
I understand.
Imagine what would happen.
Thank you.
Minutes, seconds count.
If I can say something, Mr. President, if that situation should arise, please call the police.
Yeah.
Okay. When did this occur, approximately? The one, I'm just asking, sir, the gentleman, when approximately was this event? Yeah, do you have a month, a year? No, 2 weeks ago. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, all right, let's... Yeah, if you're interested in this, name and address, and then you can say, I support exactly what's happening.
My name is Barnes. We've been on Charlotte Drive since 1973. I want to reiterate everything they've said, but also to add that the current situation with their current establishment, like they said, they don't have parking for what they have, and they want to add a huge banquet hall.
Okay.
The noise level with the current establishment, they're not being held to the current zoning, and they let noise go well into the evening. And we have called about that, and it's not being addressed. And if they're not able to hold to the current zoning with their current establishment, I don't understand how it'll be unlivable with the larger one. So.
Thank you. Next, ma'am. Name and address.
My name is Agnieszka Szymanowska. I live at 47 Charlotte Drive, which is actually next door to Cafe Emilia. So I think myself and Atul, which we live adjacent to the property, are directly impacted by the noise and everything else, but just wanted to introduce myself and sign my name in, and that I share the same views for the...
Anyone else wishing to address the council on this specific issue? And then we'll take any other issues after that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Come on up, sir. Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Akash Darji. I represent 6 Charlotte Drive on the street. And I can already tell that if there was an extension at this place, the smell is atrocious. Imagine if there was a banquet and the garbage smell is just absolutely terrible when other residents are across the street and sleeping and doing other things outside, walking, XYZ. But if there was an addition, that smell would increase as well,
Okay,
in
thank
addition
you.
to the safety risk.
Don't forget the zoning board. Next.
Right.
Good evening, everyone. I think many of you know who I am, but I'll introduce myself for the record. I'm Brittany Wheeler. I was a 25-year resident of Charlotte Drive and a frequent visitor because my parents reside at 22 Charlotte Drive. I totally understand, Mr. Council President, that it's not of the purview, this application of this board. However, as one of my fellow residents commented, you guys do represent the best interests of this community. And I know every single one of you has campaigned upon improving the quality of life of the town and fighting against overdevelopment. And I can just speak based on the conversations I've had with my parents and some of my fellow former neighbors, that they view this as overdevelopment. And you've heard the concerns about public safety, and I'm trying to be brief. But just as a matter of public record, does this body not appoint members to the Zoning Board of Adjustment?
That's true.
So
Yes.
thereby, I do feel that some degree you do have the ability to influence the decisions that are made by the board.
Well, but once
Mr.
appointed,
President, that's
but once
actually-
appointed, excuse me.
Yeah.
But once appointed, we do not influence their
Understood.
decisions,
Understood.
okay? Thank
Understood.
you very much for your comment.
Mr. President, also, as a matter of process, any hearing for any determination from the Board of Adjustment can be appealed. And one of the pathways is to the Township Council. And it's for that reason that we cannot and will not comment on any case before the zoning board.
Council President, if I may, yeah, so I don't, the governing body is not being dismissive of your concerns tonight. You and I know each other many years.
Yes, absolutely.
Councilman Kirsch says it exactly right. It's a quasi-judicial board, right? And there are steps along the way, and you could actually end up prejudicing your own case if this governing body says or isn't.
Absolutely.
You know,
We're
you and I
just
know each
up
other
here
many
to-
years,
to
Brittany. so-
express and put you guys on notice.
Yeah,
again,
but
of
we're
our
not, no one's being put off tonight by any
Yeah.
means, so.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you in the future. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council on any matter?
My name is Jesse Chang, representing 35 Charlotte Drive. Just supporting my neighbors here on this matter, and we will be at the zoning board meeting in July.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have everybody who's interested in the Charlotte Drive issue have their name on record? Oh, wow, okay.
It's going to be a lot of us.
Okay. We have a large piece of paper there.
Wait, what did you say?
I just want to say thank you for being here tonight and for sharing your comments. Although the application is not before us, I certainly do appreciate your feedback as we move forward with this matter. Thank you. Don't forget to go to the zoning board meeting.
July 22nd, 7 PM. Right here. Same room. Come early and get your same seats. Yeah, the needle. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can give anything you want to the clerk, but it's critical to bring that to.
Yes,
Jeff
it
needs to
needs,
sit in that chair instead of Howard
it
Nordell.
it needs to go to the zoning board. And, yeah.
You give it to the clerk, give it to Grace, she'll take it.
I assure you, Mr. Chairman Foos runs a very fair and thorough zoning board meeting.
Jeff's not gonna let anything get past him, that's for sure.
No,
He said, I brought you up and he said that.
I know the whole story. Yeah. 'Cause
the ring isn't that.
Now, is there anyone else who wishes to address the council? Okay, sir, your name and address, please.
My name is Tim Kenny, 198 Short Hills Drive. Sorry about what I'm wearing. I came from the Met game right to here.
It's, well, Mets.
Yeah, unless you're Yankee fans, then you don't care. Okay, so there's an intersection that if you live between Meadow and 28 and Country Road, Everybody coming off 22 to 28 knows about it, where Garrison meets it. And everybody knows that's a dangerous intersection. And I think the solution is a stop sign at Garrison Road. Very simple, and it's been there for years. I've been living in the town since 1995. So I've never thought to come to talk to the town. I don't know. I was thinking maybe someone would have addressed it by now. And I know you've been in the town obviously the longest, and you live in the area, so you must know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so is there any plan to address that intersection at all?
I think the part of the question there would be, though, and we probably have to do some further research, is where does Garrettson Road end? Because, and by that I mean, you're coming Garrettson and then you have the ramp coming off of 22 and they come together right before 28.
Correct.
And so I think what we would need to probably clarify is that the ramp is not township, that's the state. So we probably need to clarify whose jurisdiction that is.
That sounds like pass the buck to me.
It's not pass the buck. I didn't say go to the state, I said we need to clarify.
So I'll go down to Trenton and talk to them about it. It's also Garrison is a town road, right?
Yes.
Okay, so who's going to fix it then?
Well, if I can,
Mr. Pappas will take it as an action item to pursue. Is that a fair statement?
Sir, if you could just make sure you have your contact information on that sheet. I understand, I drive that every day myself, so I understand. But what Mr. Ring has said is the Route 28 is a state highway.
I understand.
And there is a portion of that ramp that is under their jurisdiction and not the township. So at some point, the state's jurisdiction ends and the townships begin. And so what we will look at, we'll get police reports from the police department to see what that would glean us and speak to their township engineer. That's where I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah. What we need to do is find out who owns that part of the road, whether it's part of the right-of-way of Route 28, which is a state highway, or whether it's a township one.
And we can certainly contact the state and share that information, not trying to pass the buck and say, you got to go to Trenton.
Right.
But
Okay.
when we share that, we cannot, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is we cannot necessarily be the ones to put a stop sign up without doing some further research.
I see. Yeah, I just don't want you to wait until there's a tragic accident.
Understood.
22, some 17-year-old driver coming from the high school goes right through that intersection because there's no stop sign, because I've seen it happen.
We understand the concern, and we will look into it.
Okay.
All right, sir?
The other thing is, from a 30,000 feet look at Bridgewater, it was always big corporations that were paying the ratables that was lowering our taxes. But I realize you can't do anything about like Santa Fe Adventist moved to Morristown. I'm not sure it's your fault or anybody else's, but I'm afraid that Ethicon, which is all boarded up now, is going to become warehouses, because that's why people along Country Club that I know, they've heard that's the plan. We're not Elizabeth. We don't want to have 18-wheelers going up Country Club Road and on 22, and then PSE&G, are they going to pave the roads for you? Because I didn't hear them say Short Hills Drive, and our street has to be paved anyway. But, there has to be a plan. Many towns, I travel the whole state for a business, and I see towns all over the state and how they address how they look. And I'm afraid that Bridgewater, when you go down 22, is going to be warehouses and trucking companies. And sooner or later, you don't want overdevelopment, then we have to come up with a better plan than that. That's just my opinion. I don't have all the answers.
There's a master plan that is underway right now. I don't know when the deliverable is on that one is.
The planning board will begin to meet on it over the summer, and with the proposed September, October public hearing.
And it will be, okay.
Part of that.
When will that be?
I don't have a date yet. We'll be working on it over the summer and probably a public hearing in September. I think September, but I don't have an exact date yet.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate your time. And I'll sign it.
Thank you. Mrs. Franco, you're up if you want. You wore them all down. Come on down.
Good evening. Okay, a couple things that were not on my script or my list. The master plan, I heard at a planning board meeting that it was going to be introduced by July. So I'm a little concerned that we won't have public hearings until September, October for that.
That has not been determined yet, Mrs. Franco.
Well, all I'm saying is at a planning board meeting, the planner said that they would be introducing
I understand.
as a master plan in July. We've been waiting for years. We've gone through putting Post-it notes all over this room,
That was last
filling
year.
out
That
surveys.
that was last year.
Right. We've gone through years of doing this, of getting ready for this, of trying to come up with a master plan, which is having an impact on zoning and planning and everything that comes into this town saying we don't have a current master plan. So we need to make this happen. That's my 2 cents on master planning. Budget. I know this isn't a budget hearing, but if I wait for 2 weeks, I won't have time for you to actually review any of my concerns or questions at that point because you'll be ready to vote on it. So on sheet 10 and on page 33, there's a sewer surplus listed. One is listed as being used as revenue under the current fund, and the other is a surplus that's being moved from the sewer to the general fund. So I'm wondering why I'm being assessed a sewer fee, and then that sewer fee is being thrown into my taxes. You might not have an answer for that, but I would hope somebody looks into it because it doesn't make sense. This is not the first year it's happened. Apparently, a couple of years ago, like $263,000 had a similar slide over. So I'm not happy about that, especially since my sewer assessment went up as well. I'm also a bit confused because this year on sheet 15A, there is, under group health, $6,980,596 for group health insurance. But then on sheet 20, with an identical line item, 23-220, there is another group health insurance for $195,686. Now, this is the first time this second line item has appeared that I've been able to find when going back through previous budgets. So why is it that we have 2 line items for group health insurance? What's the difference? And who's covered under these 2 different sections? Because if you look at just the $6,298,000, that's a 4% increase. If you add in the extra almost $200,000, I think that becomes like a 6 to 8% increase overall. Same thing with liability insurance. It appears on sheet 8 on 15A as well as sheet 20. Page 40, Camp Cromwell, Adamsville, Safe Roads. You've got $1.3 million listed under capital improvement, $65,000 capital improvement fund, $1.235 million debt authorization. There's no clarification as to how much of that is for Camp Cromwell, how much that is for Adamsville, how much is for Safe Roads. The Camp Cromwell grant is $4 million. I don't see that anywhere in the 5-year projections as far as expenditures or as far as money coming in. That should be on the capital. I mean, we're planning on using it, I think. Also, I think we have to spend money to get it. So why isn't that on your capital 5-year plan? I mean, that's how I do a budget, both personally and professionally. I would think that that's how you would do one. Why is there also nothing on the capital for library HVAC replacement? I mean, that's been an issue for years. Every summer, the heat goes over 90 degrees and we shut down the library for a couple of days because we know we need to replace the system, and there's nothing in the capital plan for that. Repairs to parks, tennis and basketball courts. We had a woman come here tonight and speak about Glen Park. That park, those cracks are not new. I know I sent pictures of those cracks 5 years ago to Parks and Rec. I could start going page by page. And I know
Why
you don't want me
Why
to
don't
do
I
it.
suggest this, Mrs. Franco? If you have a listing, would you provide a listing of that to the clerk to make sure that every single item on your list is addressed? How's that?
Okay, my other concern or question is I did an Oprah request for the budget detail. I was told that I couldn't get that until, I did that the day after the meeting, the last council meeting. I was told that would not be available to me until June 20th. I take issue with that because I think this budget is derived from that budget detail. So I don't know why it's going to take 3 weeks to make that budget detail available to me and make it available less than 6 calendar days prior to the budget hearing. And that's
When the budget was introduced, it was passed to this council by the administration. At that time, it is the job of the heavy lifting goes to the Finance Committee, which is Representatives Ring and Kirsch, and we're all working on it. But the fact of the matter is that interim period of time is so that we can do our due diligence.
But and part of that due diligence, I would hope, is that you also have asked for that budget detail, for that line by line, item by item listing of everything that goes to
What
build
we
that
have been doing within the council is providing our questions to the financial subcommittee so that they, the two of them, can go to the administration. It is pointless to have 5 people going to Mr. Pappas or the CFO asking questions. So we have a finance committee, Kirsch and Ring, who are the point people on behalf of the council, so that any questions we have, including the one on the sewer surplus, I asked that one too, are addressed for the next version.
And so if any resident has any questions between now and the budget hearing, they should send those questions to Councilman Kirsch and Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Okay, directly? And can they expect answers?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Don't forget, you're at the. I'm sorry. Yeah. If the question is, have you stopped beating your wife? You probably don't get an answer to that.
Tell me why there's a 20% increase in XYZ over last year's expenditures. Even though you budgeted the same as last year, but last year you didn't spend 20% of what you budgeted. So why do you continue to?
I encourage you to submit your questions. Okay. I know that you're very detail focused and you're a great researcher, and you will take any number in that budget and auger it down to the point where you understand which chair in this room the person sat at who made a commitment. And we want to be candid and open, but it's a big budget. It's a lot of money, and there's a lot of different things, and there's a lot of questions. But anyway, thank you.
And I have a lot of them, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Council President, I think Ms. Franco's Oprah request for the detailed budget should be produced to her as soon as possible. There's no reason why she should have to wait till the last day that we have to produce that budget. I do think that a big part of this budget process is not only for us to review it, but for the public to review it. It's their budget. The budget belongs to the public. They're entitled to review the budget and provide feedback to us. I think in all fairness, I think Ms. Franco and any member of the public should be provided with the budget detail as soon as possible. And frankly, we should want them to have the budget because the governing body should be proud of its budget and should want to share it with the public. The public should have access to it.
Thank you. Ma'am, your name and address, please.
Governing body doesn't control.
Michelle Glicklick, 20, my old address, 4 Sterling Drive, Bridgewater. When Ms. Franco mentioned the sewer, brought something to my mind. How do you decide on the bill? how is that formulated? Is it broken up amongst every resident equally? How is that decided on?
I'm not sure I understand your question. What?
Used to be that by your usage, your water usage, you paid your sewer bill accordingly to a
No,
percentage.
that has never been the way that Bridgewater has done it. Other townships do that,
I did
but
it-
a quarter of our people are on well water, so there is no water usage. If you have a town that's completely served by a water company, you can get those details, how specific. We do not have that.
If the town wants to go to by water usage, I will absolutely support it because I have a well. But the answer to your question, though, is there's a residential amount that every resident pays, fixed. There's a commercial rate, and then it's based upon units that can then become a little more complicated and a more involved discussion.
Because I know there's just 2 of us in our household.
Yep.
And the bill is exorbitant for the sewer. Sewer bill.
Every resident pays the same amount from a residential billing point of view.
Your water bill may be metered for New Jersey American Water, but your sewer bill is flat.
That's what I'm talking about, the flat. Talk about the sewer bill.
Water is metered. Water is metered.
And I'll tell you, this is...
A lot of water, you're not using a lot of the sewer.
Yeah, well, there's you can argue a lot of different ways, and as Council President said, we've got a large percentage of the town that is not on public water. I have a well in my front yard. There's
very
discussions, do you charge based upon the number of bathrooms? But again, how many people live in, there's pluses and minuses to every system, and no matter what you try to do, when you look at trying to come up with a different model, there's always a challenge with it.
Yeah, because the sewer bill went boop.
I have a question, Mr. Council President.
Sure.
When it comes to our sewer rate, aren't we in Bridgewater Township subject to what the Raritan Valley Sewerage Authority bills us?
Significant
That's what
amount.
we have to charge the residents.
Yes, we have to recognize the Raritan Valley Sewerage Authority processing fee, plus the fees that we incur in maintaining the system. We maintain our sewer system. If there's a clog, we send out people to fix it. So, but thank you.
Curious, thank you.
Anyone else? Could I have a motion to close public input?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed to that? Thank you. Public hearing and final action ordinance, 10A. Calendar year 2025 ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank under the auspices of NJSA 48:4-45.14. This was originally introduced. Are any comments first before I open to the public? Seeing none.
Are we going to have a chance to comment afterwards?
I'm sorry?
We're going to have a chance to comment after? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to open it to the public. Motion to open to the public for the public hearing, please.
I'll make that motion.
A second. All those in favor? Aye. All right, we are open to the public for input now on 10A, which is a cap bank. Seeing no motion, could I have a closed motion?
Motion to close public hearing.
And a
Second.
second to that?
Second.
Okay, now we're open for discussion on the council.
Mr. Norgellis, if I could just take a moment. Actually, we have a couple of slides I'd like to just bring up. I don't know if you can see it there, but no, there are a number of people that have asked questions about what a cap bank ordinance accomplishes. And what we've tried to do here is try to use an example of vacation days. Many people have vacation and they can carry them over to a second year. And so what we've done here, and we're going to post this to try to explain to the public what this means and what the cap bank law permits for municipalities. So I think is there one other page? Yeah. So we just tried to, in graphic manner, try to describe the process and what our constraints are. Thank you.
All we're doing is taking leftover tax increase and rolling it in case we need it in the future.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I have a comment. So during the introduction, I voted no. And now we're here for the final adoption. During that introduction period, I provided some comments. I know that the mayor had some response, and then I provided some data. Today, Mr. Pappas, thank you for providing that Q&A. That was actually that was nicely well done, nicely formatted, very, very presentable. During the Q&A, Mr. Pappas made reference, I believe, to what I said on the record, and one of the questions I think specifically pertained to my comment. So I'm going to, I guess, clear the record. Mr. Pappas is correct. My numbers are off by 1%. So let me tell you what the data is. If you go publicly and you access the public records, and look at the budgets, and you look at the amount to be raised by taxation line, in 2021, that number was $22,325,335. If you didn't look at 2022, that number is $23,220,842, which is an increase of 4%. If you didn't look at 2023, the amount to be raised by taxation increased to $24,398,196, and that was an increase of 5%. If you look at 2024, the amount to be raised by taxation increased to $27,239,044, and that was a tax increase of 12%. So I did want to make the record clear that those were the accurate numbers. When it came to the number that I quoted for 2025, that was based upon the initial tax budget that we were all presented. On the day of the council meeting, for the first time, the administration provided an amendment. It was the first time I saw that amendment that night. The tax increase in that amendment had dropped. However, I believe that budget is actually a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of money being shifted around. We're taking a lot of money from the sewer bill and moving it over to our general appropriations accounting. So if you look at the data, Mr. Pappas, from 2024 to 2021, the overall municipal tax increase has been 22%. So that's the data if you want to double check it. And then perhaps if you think my numbers are wrong, I'm certainly available to discuss that with you, and I will certainly be willing to correct the record again. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will continue to vote no because, go ahead. I will vote no today.
I'm going to call the roll on this one.
You need a motion to,
We did it already. We've got a motion.
motion was to close public hearing.
Make the
I'm
motion.
sorry.
You need it.
Move for final, close for final action.
I'll second that motion.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
No.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Item 11, introduction of ordinances. There are none. Moving to resolution number 12A, authorizing an additional $30,000 to Air Systems Maintenance LLC, 718 Jefferson Avenue, Kenilworth, New Jersey, 07033, for HVAC repairs to various township locations for the terms of the contract ending February 28, 2026, for a total amount not to exceed $64,000 to be funded through, hang on, Buildings and Grounds Professional Contracts account. Any discussion? First of all, could I have a motion on that one?
I'll make the motion on 12A.
Motion and a
I'll
second,
second
please?
it.
Okay, second. Any discussion on?
There was a memo distributed to the council today from Mr. Genova that provides some details, as Mr. Ring, at least one councilman had posed a question.
And this is something that really needs to get done, right? Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Moving to B, award of second-year renewal option to Atlantic Tactical Incorporated, 722 Corporate Circle, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, 17070, for the purchase of police uniforms and leather gear in the amount not to exceed $80,000 for the periods of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, to be funded through the Police Department OE bids, contracts, obligations account. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion, please, on 12B? Hearing none, roll call.
We don't want to see the chief naked, so we got to keep him dressed.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. 12C was removed by the administration. Moving to D, resolution acknowledging automatic renewal of the 2023-2025 cooperative agreements regarding community development block grant and home investment partnership program activities. Could I have a motion, please, on D?
I'll make that motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Mr. Pappas, anything you'd like to weigh in on this one, please?
No, sir.
Okay. Alan, I know you have the front on this. Any questions you have? Any?
No, I think it's all in order, and I absolutely support it.
Roll call, please, 12D.
Councilman Kirsch?
I don't think I need to abstain on this, but I do need to acknowledge that I'm on the board of directors of home sharing.
Abstain would be appropriate, okay?
I'll abstain then.
All right, Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. E is a request for waiver of fire permit in the amount of $430 and the special event fee in the amount of $100 for the total amount of $530, and authorization for the fireworks display for the Somerset County Park Commission, 355 Milltown Road, Bridgewater, New Jersey, on Friday, July 4th, 2025. Could I have a motion, please, on E?
I'll make that motion.
A second? Roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordiller?
Yes.
Councilman Pedroso?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. And now we're up to the point, relax, put your feet up. I have a lot of reading here. 13.
We doing these on consent?
Yes, all on, this is 2025, 2026 liquor license renewals, consent agenda. A, 2025-2026 renewal of plenary retail consumption liquor license establishments within Bridgewater Township. B, 2025-2026 renewal of Township of Bridgewater plenary retail distribution liquor licenses for the following: Squires Corner Liquors Incorporated, trading as Spirits of the Valley; Krishna Beverages Incorporated, trading as Bridgewater Wine and Spirits; Wegmans Food and Beverages Incorporated; Ramaram Incorporated, trading as Best Buy Wine and Liquors; Wine Outlet Bridgewater LLC, trading as Wine Outlet; and Bridgewater Wines LLC, trading as Liquor Cave. C, 2025-2026 renewal of the Township of Bridgewater Club licenses for the following fraternal organization: Order of Eagles, Somerset Area 2137, Somerville Lodge of Elks Post 1068, and Raritan Valley Country Club. D is 2025-2026 renewal of plenary retail consumption liquor license, hotel/motel exception for Bridgewater Hotel LLC, trading as Hilton Garden Inn; FSG Bridgewater Hotel LLC, trading as Hampton Inn and Suites and Inn and Suites; Briad Lodging Group LLC, trading as AC Marriott Bridgewater. E is 2025-2026 renewal of plenary retail consumption liquor license number 1806-33-021-009 for Mish J.O. Investment Group Corporation, trading as Green Knoll Grill, 645 Route 202-206 South, Bridgewater, New Jersey, 08807, resolution with conditions. F is 2025-2026 renewal of plenary retail consumption license 1806-33-027-006 Cafe Amelia Incorporated with special condition. G is 2025-2026 renewal of plenary retail consumption liquor license 1806-36-040-002 Hotels, Motels Exception Marriott Hotel Services Incorporated with conditions. H is renewal of plenary retail consumption inactive liquor license number 1806-33-019-004 for a Pearl Incorporated for the 2025-26 licensing term pursuant to PL 2023 C-290, parentheses, the Inactive Liquor License Reform Act, close paren, which amends NJSA 33:1-12-39 and modifies requirements for inactive retail liquor licenses, including establishing expiration dates for quartile list licenses. I, renewal of plenary retail consumption inactive liquor license number 1806-33-017-007 for Chimney Rock LQR LLC for the 25-26 licensing term pursuant to PL 2023 C-290, the Inactive Liquor License Reform Act, which amends NJSA 33:1-12.39 and modifies requirements for inactive retail liquor licenses, including establishing expiration dates for quartile list licenses. J, renewal of plenary retail consumption inactive liquor license for number 1806-33-026-007 for Red Lobster Restaurants LLC for the 2025-2026 licensing term pursuant to PL 2023 C-290, the Inactive Liquor License Reform Act, which amends NJSA 33:1-12.39 and modifies requirements for inactive retail liquor licenses, including establishing expiration dates for quartile licenses.
Mr. President?
Any, you want me to read it again? Okay.
No, so you started reading, I didn't want to interrupt you, so I just consulted with Mr. Corsini as a member of the Elks. I wanted to make sure I don't have a conflict with their liquor license renewal, which he has confirmed I do not. So based upon that, I will move 13 consent.
Excellent. Second?
I'll second.
Okay, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Okay, we're now up to closed session. Be resolved by the Bridgewater Township Council that this body will now convene a closed session meeting to discuss litigation and contract negotiations related to affordable housing, as well as litigation involving Warren Township, as well as a public safety issue. When and if our matters discussed become public record, the information will be made known to the public at that time. The public is excluded from said meeting, and further notice thereof is dispensed with, all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meetings Act. We will transact no business at the close of the closed session, so we will simply adjourn. May I have a motion to go to closed session? Wait for a second. Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying, oh, roll call, please, on this. Yeah.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Pedrosa?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
President Nogales?
Yes. Okay, we are closed.
Roman's packing up.
Of course,
Have a good night, sir. While this meeting is going on, Maxes us out.
Hurts us.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have closed the closed session. We are now back online. The only course of business at this point is adjournment. Could I have
So
a
moved.
motion? We have a motion, second, please.
Aye.
All those in favor of adjourning? Aye. Okay. Thank you very much for your participation. Good day.
Thank you, Howard. Thought it was going to be a 20-minute meeting, Howard.
Mate, we have Israel before our dirty work.
Oh, Lord.